Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be back with you today. Yesterday, as we talked about on Friday, I spent the morning with my daughter for her 15th birthday. Just spent a little extra time with her, and it was good. She had a great day. We had family over to celebrate, and then tonight, because the kids are out of school for Thanksgiving this weekend, she is having all her friends over. They're going out to eat and having a sleepover and all of that, and so she gets to celebrate 2 days in a row. And so it's a crazy week because we're basically having 2 birthday parties and then Thanksgiving, so it's going to be a full week. Today is really exciting because it's Feathers Day. It's Tuesday, which means we have a new episode of Feathers Out, and today we have a Proverbs 31 speaker and author with us, Lynn Cowell, and she was just really fantastic to talk to, and so I hope you get to listen to that. It is out, and so today I wanted just to share a few minutes from actually, and I really can't believe I ended up here, was 1 Chronicles 28, and so I was reading in Psalm, and as we know, David wrote a lot of that, and I just began to be curious about the end of David's life and what that looked like, and I just see within this that I was encouraged by a couple things in these verses and wanted to share it with you because I think that we can all be encouraged by David's words. And so at the end of David's life, he had wanted to build the temple, and God told David through Nathan that he was not going to be the one to build the temple, that his son Solomon had been chosen to be king and would be the one to build the temple. But David, you'll see that David actually began to gather all of some of the things that was needed, especially money, and David gave out of his own personal, I don't know what you call it, bank money to be able to give to afford to build the temple. And then he gives these words to Solomon at the end of his life about this assignment that God has given Solomon to do. And so I wanted to read it. And I'm actually going to skip a couple sections. If you want to read the whole, I would actually read chapters 28 and 29, and you can kind of read the end of this and what David and Solomon do. But David says to Solomon, "And you, my son Solomon, acknowledge the God of your father and serve him with wholehearted devotion and with a willing mind. For the Lord searches every heart and understands every motive behind the thoughts. If you seek him, he will be found by you. But if you forsake him, he will reject you forever. Consider now, for the Lord has chosen you to build a temple as a sanctuary. Be strong and do the work." And then it says that David gave Solomon the plans, and it says that David gave him the plans of all that the Spirit had put in his mind for the courts of the temple of the Lord and all the surrounding rooms. And then if you skip down to verse 19, David begins talking again. It says, "I have in writing from the hand of the Lord upon me, and he gave me understanding in all the details of the plan." And then David says, "Be strong and courageous, and do the work. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord God, my God, is with you. He will not fail you or forsake you until all the work for the service of the temple of the Lord is finished." And I was just kind of taken by this section because the Lord has appointed Solomon to do something. And here we have David, who we know is so faithful to the Lord and searches after the Lord's heart. And then as I think a dad and as a king, he is giving this instruction to Solomon. And just think about, he's at the end of his life, all the wisdom that David has gained, and is passing off this appointment to his son and all the wisdom that he is giving him. And so I kind of took that on for myself, like, how about I listen to David myself on the things that God has appointed me to do? And I think all of us, no matter what season we're in, God has appointed us to do something, whether it is raising our kids while they're in our home, whether it is a job that he has given you, whether it is a book he has asked you to write, whether it is, fostering children, or whether it is, oh my goodness, so many different things that you can do, just even moving your family, or, building some sort of nonprofit, or some kind of ministry. There's something that God has given you to do in this season of life. And I think we can take a couple things from David's wisdom today. And the first one is how we serve. And he says, serve him with wholehearted devotion and with a willing mind, for the Lord searches every heart and understands every motive behind the thoughts. And so I think, first of all, that we need to have a willing heart, and we need to go at it with all of our heart and be willing, instead of, we don't want to begrudge the things that God has called us to do. I mean, I think sometimes we get into it and it's like, I really do not want to be doing this. But I think we need to search our heart and then refocus ourselves so that we do have a willing heart. And if we don't have a willing heart, I think we can ask God for that, right? I think we can say, Lord, refocus me and give me a willing heart to do the thing that you have called me to do. So that first thing is having a willing heart and how we're approaching the work that God has for us. And the second thing is that God will provide. God will provide it. It says, and I love this, I don't know if I really ever paid attention to it, but it says that the Spirit laid the plans for the temple in David's mind. Like, does that blow your mind? Like, that the Spirit would give David the imagination and help him to realize like what that temple should look like. And we have pictures of what the temple looked like. All of that was in David's mind. That blows my mind. But I think what we can take from that is that if we're open to it and we allow it, that the Spirit will provide what we need to do the things that we need to do. So I think sometimes I think of parenting just as a really simple example, and we think, I have no idea how to do this. There is no manual for my children. God can put things in your mind of plans of how to help you raise your children if we ask Him. There can be people that can be brought into their lives. There could be a book. There could be a place you need to visit. I don't know. But I know that God can put things in your mind. I think about, doing this video this morning. I feel like God has put things in my mind to be able to share. I think about my podcast, that God, I didn't know what that was at the beginning, and He kind of shaped that. He put that in my mind, and the Spirit will do that. The Spirit will provide what you need to do the things that God has called you to do. So that's the second thing. You don't have to come up with yourself. The Spirit will help you. And then the third thing I wanted to take from David's words here this morning is that we have to do the work. We have to do the work, and it is work. I think sometimes we think the things that God has called us to do are going to be easy and are going to be fun and are, all the time, and are going to be, we just sit back and watch God work and, whatever. But it actually says to do the work. I mean, I wanted to look before, I want to see if I could find it really quick. I wanted to see how long it took them for Solomon to actually build the temple. I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know. How many years did it take to Solomon to build the temple? I don't know, but I know it's a lot. It was a lot, and that was work to do, and that was work that God had called. That was work that God had called him to do, and it takes a lot of work. And I think, sometimes we just don't want to do the work. I mean, I know for me, it's been I was very convicted, even with the podcast, today's podcast day, a new podcast, and I have to remember, I actually have to email people and ask them to come on the podcast. I actually have to schedule it, and sometimes I don't feel like doing that. But I know that God has not told me to stop doing it, and so I actually do have to put in the work to be able to do it. And so that was kind of a kick in my pants this morning. It's like, He just says, do the work. And, that's David's a lifetime of service to God, and He says, you're going to have to put in the work. And so, and I think too, the last thing, I didn't have this, but the last thing is that it says, He will not fail you or forsake you. He will not fail you or forsake you, that whatever God has called you to do, that He is not going to go anywhere, and He's going to be with you through the whole thing. So He doesn't put this in your mind, push you out the door and say, good luck, have fun with it. No, He leads you as you go. He leads you as you go, not just at the beginning when He puts the idea in your mind, but as you go, He's going to be with you, and He will not fail you. He will not fail you. So I was just so encouraged by that this morning, and I hope you are too. So, goodness, It's good to be back with you today. I want to say good morning. There looks like a couple people were able to join. So Christina says good morning. Good morning, Christina. Marie, good morning. She said good morning, Amy. Good morning, Marie. And Candy, looks like you're watching. Good morning. So she was just over for the family birthday party last night. So good morning, guys. It's really great to be back. I missed being with you guys yesterday. I was really trying to figure out how I could fit it in, but the morning just went too fast, and then I had a big day at work, and oh my goodness, so I couldn't fit it in yesterday, but that's okay. So I'm glad to be back today, and don't forget today is podcast day, so I hope you go get to listen to that. And I think you guys should be on my email list, on the Abiding Ministries email list. Go into the blog, and there's a little thing in the sidebar to sign up, because I sent out an email yesterday to be able to we're doing an end of year sale on all of our products, all the ones that I have in stock. So I have stuff left over that I had put in stock for our 100th episode party thing that we did in the summer, and so I have some t-shirts, I have some mugs, I have some journals. What else do I have? I put my Bible study on sale, all of that, and that went out to my email list, and I am going to be opening that up to I'll be putting it on our social media too for everybody. But so if you're not on the email list, you want to get on, because I give that kind of thing to my email subscribers first. Yeah. So, all right, guys. It's probably, look, I don't have my watch on. I was getting ready to look at my wrist. I was getting ready to look at it, but it is probably time to head out and get the kids to school. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you back tomorrow. Bye, guys.